The first generation of the armed forces did its best to maintain the security of Singapore with whatever they had on hand.
They used to say that we were a Karangoni armed force because a lot of our things were either second-hand equipment that we bought or equipment off the shelf, but we were able to actually run an armed force on that kind of basis because the National Servicemen we had then, soldiered on with it to make the best of what they had.
Recognizing technology as a force multiplier, the SAF took large strides to build a modern and capable defense force in the next 2 decades. Throughout the 80s and 90s, servicemen trained with the best new weapon systems that Singapore could afford. A vibrant local defense science industry made sure that the SAF could deliver the biggest punch with what little manpower Singapore had. Today, we can be confident that the SAF can fight and win when the button is pressed. But the SAF has to make sure it can transform itself in order to prevail in the war of the future. The SAF is fully embarked on its transformation journey. It will leverage on technology to operate in a tightly integrated networked environment where critical information is shared across the board for total situational awareness. Our people will continue to be the success factor in the third generation SAF. In particular, it will leverage on the increasingly better quality national manpower resources that will be enlisted for national service.
We will nurture people who are forward-looking, engaged, inspired, and people who have the skills and the competency to give of their best towards greater excellence. Ultimately, it is our people who will exploit this technology edge that we have and bring about a more ready and capable SAF for the future.
The third generation transformation efforts of the SAF will enhance the role of our national servicemen, creating soldiers that are networked, better informed and more effective on the battlefield.
In the past, information was not shared widely based on capability, but now we're able to leverage on the state-of-the-art technology to be able to share information quickly, thereby allowing a soldier to even know who is on the left and right. Having such information readily available in your fingertips really gives you the confidence in making the right decision.
With technology, training realism also reaches a new level for the third generation national servicemen. The Battlefield Instrumentation System, or BFI, uses lasers and infocom technology to link soldiers, weapon systems and fighting platforms for more realistic engagements between opposing forces. Global positioning and other technologies allow the BFI to track and record these engagements in real time for more critical after-action reviews. Training then becomes more fruitful and effective for our national servicemen.
In the past, before we had such a technology, we just fought. We just walked from point A to point B, attacked a certain hill, and we weren't really sure what was happening, either as a soldier on the ground or as a commander planning the operations. I believe we are going in the right way when we are bringing in more and more training realism into our curriculum.
Singapore was confronted by the threat of terrorism in the past, and we dealt with these radical elements firmly. We remain a target for such elements from within and beyond that seek to destroy what Singaporeans have built over the last 40 years. There was no letting our guard down in the past. All the more, we should not let our guard down now.
I think what's important is that we must not allow the terrorist ideology to break our will as a nation. Now the ball is in our court as NS-men. We need to play our part in ensuring that we're resilient in such threats.
Since the September 11th incident, national servicemen from the SAF, the police and the Civil Defence Force have worked closely to provide round-the-clock efforts in stemming the tide of terror. National servicemen from the police MRT units patrol the MRT to provide greater assurance to the public. SAF servicemen and also officers from the Police National Service Key Installation Protection Unit, or KINS, are deployed at checkpoints, oil refineries and key installations to provide home front security for Singapore. Various security teams from the SAF and the Civil Defence Force are also equipped to deal with any chemical and biological incidents. In the face of terror, our national servicemen bravely stand their ground, ready to respond to whatever threats.
In this current climate, NS men know how important it is when they are at Changi Airport or when they are at Jurong Island. They know that if they let any moment slip and they are not vigilant, there is always an imminent threat. So they take their responsibility very, very seriously.
While our national servicemen remain committed in their battle against terror, they know that behind them are undaunted Singaporeans who are resolute and united, ready to play their part in national defence.
I must say the national servicemen are not alone in this. The community at large, the grassroots organizations, the schools, individuals at workplaces, all play a part in a common mission and purpose, and that is to protect our country and our people.
National service remains critical to the defence of Singapore. It is not just an institution where bonds are strengthened among male youths from all walks of life. It is also a reminder to all Singaporeans that ultimately we can only depend on ourselves to ensure our security and safety.
We are happy that we played a part in building up our nation. Any sacrifice we made is well worth it.
There's no home when you don't have a country. I think NS is good. It builds in you that when times during that crisis, you will stand up and fight.
The spirit of national service will go on for generations to come. A duty gallantly borne by the sons of Singapore.
Peace didn't just happen overnight. So peace is something that we need to preserve. It has been built up and we need to keep maintaining that.
It helps them to strengthen their sense of belonging to the nation, their sense of affiliation, loyalty and allegiance.
When push comes to shove, if Singapore goes to war, I will know that I can protect my country and the people I love. Yeah.